First of all, I want to ask you, each one of you, is this the first time coming up this November 18th? Will this be the first time all three of you have been together, period?
It's been a while.
Since the games?
Yeah, we've seen each other probably in passing. I see CB all the time. It's been a while since
all three of you together.
Yeah, it's been a while since all three of us been together, yes.
A lot of great memories. It's gotta be exciting though, to finally be recognized back here in the district where, you know, this triple threat that we had, you know, has become somewhat iconic with this area. And, you know, fans are going to be showing their appreciation for what you guys meant for basketball in this area. So talk a little bit about what it means coming back to D.C. And Gilbert, this will be your first time actually coming back to the arena. So
wow.
I want each one of you to talk about coming back and the memories.
I think I'm the only one that has anxiety right now. The only one. Like,
you can elaborate.
Caron comes in, you know, twice a year, so I'm the only one that's gone. I'm like, oh my God, what are we gonna think? Or am I gonna get booed? Like, I have so many emotions going through. Like, I told Sasha, like, oh, you know, can I zoom mine in?
I think it's going to be a great reception for all three of you, and I'm glad to see this because you guys were exciting to watch.
To have Gil and Caron there at the same time, it just brings back those battles that we had, the amount of respect that we had for one another. Because when I knew when those other two guys on the court with, it didn't matter if it was Boston, Miami, the Lakers, that I had two other guys that was going to compete at a high level. You know, Gil would tell you, I'm not scared of anybody. Caron got the straw in his mouth. He ready to go out there and drop 25 on somebody. We are brothers. I mean, we used to argue all the time. You know, we didn't get the ball, this and that, but it was a lot of respect that we had, and you can still, to this day, after we're done playing the game of basketball, we still, you know, catching up on what everybody else is doing. And, you know, me and Caron, we hug it up. We talk about, I mean, it's a genuine friendship between all three of us.
This is beautiful, man. You know, full circle, like, that's what it's all about, man. And I'm proud of all of them. You know what I mean? I watch you guys from afar. I see the things that Gilbert's doing. So I'm proud of you as well, Antawn, and what you're doing, brother, man. You still look the same. You don't look a day older than the day you stepped off the court, man. Like, I love that, man. You look amazing, brother.
And knees and backs say otherwise, CB.
I don't know if you remember, when Caron first came to the team, he came off the bench.
Yeah.
Facts.
I don't remember that, really.
Because Jarvis Hayes was still starting.
Yeah.
And you can see the energy coming off the bench. And I'm sitting there, like, Chucky, me and Chucky, and I'm like, I don't know how long we can keep on I'm like, I don't know how long this six-man role gonna work. Oh, he's doing his thing. And then as soon as they put you in the starting lineup, it just showed. Like, it's kind of funny because it's the same way now. You know, you started in on the TV side, and I remember watching. I'm like, once he figures this out, he's gonna move into a whole nother lane. So I need to watch him, and I've been paying attention to Caron. You pushing me more than anybody else, right? Like, you know, I have the competition out here, but a teammate that's doing, you know, his thing and competing, I was like, man, I want to follow Caron. You know, Caron got the gold. He got 2 golds. And I was like, next year, man, I got to go get the gold, man. I got to get a gold.
You coming. You
know, it's just wonderful seeing the same energy that we've seen on the court that that's happening now in real life.
When the three of you were together, was there anything said for a game that, like, Caron, all of a sudden you're getting hot? Was anything said, or was it just body language? How did that happen?
In my head, I knew that it was time for me to get off in the first and third quarter. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how I, like, operated and processed, just from a feel of what it looked like. Like, Gil would let, you know, he share the ball early, do his thing, and then he went into, you know, Agent Zero mode come, you know, second half. He was just like, all right, I'm about to score these points down the stretch. The ball gonna be in my hand. I'm gonna draw fouls because I'm quicker than everybody. more explosive than everyone. So me and Antawn, and then it was more of a two-man game with pick and pop or pick and roll with Antawn with the quick releases in the fourth quarter. And that, no one can guard that. But me, more of an isolation guy, because, they'll tell you to this day, I still won't catch and shoot. So it was more of a, just trying to get to my mix and get to my package, and we played off each other extremely well doing that.
While you're playing the game of basketball, you think you're going to play the game forever. And I think it's not until you realize that, I got to start thinking about something else after basketball. And for me, it was a smooth transition. I've seen so many former players struggle to find out what they want to do after basketball. But as of now, I think we all have a blueprint exactly what we want to do, how we feel things are going to turn out in the next 5 to 10 years. For me, it's more on the organizational side, being able to run a team, helping other people out. You already heard, hearing Gil and Caron already talk about, I got this, I'm trying to do this. It's just, and again, I think about basketball helped pave the way for that, because you have to be disciplined. You have to strategize as far as what you want to do. And I think from my time, the things that we learned from the game of basketball has helped making that transition to what we want to do after basketball.
Now that I'm out, and I said I worked out 3 times a day. The only thing I wish I did is worked out more. Because when you're done playing, you're done playing. There's no more, 3 times a day. So when you're in this sport, you're in this game, you try to master it at all levels. The mental, the physical, you got to know the dead spots on the court. Take this like you're trying to be the best player ever. This is not a game where, I can do this 5 years from now. I can do it 10 years from now. No. As soon as you step on, you should be taking 1,000 shots, minimum a week, outside of practice. Minimum a week. Take care of your body. Focus.
I remember Gil missing a shot in a game. It can be, it was like our 3rd game before nights. And 3 o'clock in the morning, he's in the gym making sure he doesn't miss that shot. The game of basketball it was his livelihood. The same thing with Caron. Same thing with myself. Like, we love the game of basketball and all the other stuff. It was second nature.
CB?
Yeah, I have many things, and I think Gil nailed it. Like, I have many things that I'm passionate about. Coaching is one of them. That opportunity presented itself by, having a platform on being on all these different networks, NBC Washington, obviously NBA TV, et cetera, just talking the game of basketball and someone, seeing the way that you viewed it from your observation and through your lenses. And they was just like, what? We would love to have you on the bench just to pour into these young guys right now. And it's a voice that, to Gil's point again, that like people to listen to, because you need to reference, rather quickly. And guys can only pull back so far in their data. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they need a fresh face, a familiar face that, oh man, I used to see you get busy and now you're giving me this priceless information. So, for the foreseeable future, obviously being a head coach, I'm in basketball school right now. And being a head coach is something that's a dream that I want to accomplish. I want to check that box. But then eventually, I want to pivot into politics at some point in my foreseeable long range future, and just have a position, whether it's state level, in my community, in my state, my home state, Wisconsin, and just really move the needle in some of those things that I feel need to be changed back there.
Most memorable game. There's a lot of, but I'm interested to hear each one of you talk about the most memorable game that you had as a Wizard.
Ooh. It was probably the Phoenix game up in Phoenix. We're in layup lines, and I got my mean face on, like, yeah. Then Tony tells me, he says, you're gonna need more than 50 points to beat us. And I was like, duly noted. I'll have more than 50 then.
I didn't put it.
Yeah, he said, you're gonna need more than 50 points to beat us.
Right. Okay.
To go out there and have more than 50 beat us. It's one of those games that, I can never forget. I put that in front of the 60 points because the 60 points is, I was just clicking that night. It just happened. We went to overtime. It happened. But, when you go and say you're going to do something and then you get challenged and you do it, you win, you beat the #1 team, in the league at the time. It just holds a different spot for you.
Hey, Phil.
Go
It's
ahead.
so crazy. It's so crazy with Gilbert, that 60-point game versus the Lakers. The only person knew he had 60 was Deshaun. Like,
Oh, serious?
like when we went in the back, remember, we was just like, yo, well, how many points did he finish with? Like, nobody really knew, like he snapped out for 60.
Yeah.
Well, he actually really blew up in the overtime. I think he had 14 or 16 points in the overtime. Yeah, which was
that was crazy.
I don't think us three get enough credit for is our basketball IQ was off the chart. We knew the game of basketball.
Had a good
That's
feel.
why Gil is talking about it. That's why Caron is coaching. That's why I'm in the front office trying to get guys, to play a certain type of way. Our basketball IQ was off the chart. We had Brendan Haywood back there defending like, hey, he's coaching us to get to certain positions. So we did a lot of the coaching and understanding the game of basketball, to the point where, we didn't need Eddie to get us today. We just, we looked at the sideline. We knew what we was going to do, and we took advantage of our skill set as well, too.
Arenas checks the clock. Gilbert, fade away. Dagger!
Oh,
Wizards win! Arenas hits the shot at the buzzer!
Can you believe that?
And the Wizards have sucked the life out of Chicago in their own building.
I just go with this one is when we beat Chicago in the playoff, and Mr. Poland is in the locker room, and I think it's a picture of me and him hugging one another because I know he had a vision of bringing, respectability back to DC as far as basketball, and just remember like how excited we were in that locker room, and him coming in there hugging everybody and things of that nature. So it's probably one of the memories that really stands out.
We did all of this in a Princeton offense. That's
Did
what's so
you like that
remarkable to
Princeton
this day.
offense?
I mean, we had so much success, so it's hard not to like it. But I just want people to wrap their mind around the equal opportunity spread offense with cuts and reactions. And you had three guys average 20+ points, in Gilbert's case, 30 points a game. Like, that's just unheard of.
Gilbert for the win. Oh, baby!
We didn't get the longevity like the big three in Golden State.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We didn't really get that type of success together. I think if we would have stayed healthy, that we would have been them. They got to play a career with each other.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to play a career with each other. We had 2-3 years, and then I went down. Then those two guys had to carry the team. I bounced back and forth from injury, so it wasn't the same team anymore.
I got a question from Chris Miller. He wants each of you to kind of evaluate, I know it's early, but the Wizards team this year.
The East is crazy, man. This is gonna be it's gonna be an interesting year because I was sitting there naming, I think the Atlantic Division can have 4 teams that make the playoff this year. It's just unbelievable the amount of talent that we have in the East. But I think the biggest thing for us is being injury-free, staying healthy. Brad looks phenomenally well. He doesn't have the load of scoring every time or getting everybody baskets throughout the whole 48 minutes. And you've seen that. But for us, I think it's going to be defensively. Can we play close to 48 minutes of consistent defense, make it difficult for our opponents night in and night out?
It's the spacing that I like, with the unicorn. I think that's going to open up the floor for a player like Brad. It just reminds me of with Antawn, right? Because he's a pick and pop guy. Those big sitting makes for the easy, throwback. If they want a hard show, I'm going to turn that corner because, most of the bigs are slow. So the fact that those two guys are on the same floor, I'll see, the real kick in. It's usually game 20 is when, everyone starts getting in their mojo. So, it's hard to really evaluate, anything now because everyone's still trying to feel what each other's doing, what everyone likes. No one wants to step on anybody's toes right now. So it's like, wait till game 20 where all the roles are actually being, stamped. So, you can ask me back in game 20. a lot of Wizards. Listen. Everyone talks about the San Antonio, train in the NBA. The Wizards train is pretty big also.
Yeah.
You got Calvin Booth and, the Conley boys into the league. You got Milt. It's just, just the fact that, Wes is, with the team doing this thing. I was happy when they said his name. So, just amazing just to see the people that that groomed you as a player, in those positions to say, he gets to be like, hey, I told you I was right.
Yeah.
Again, I'm really excited about seeing the three there on November the 18th, and can't wait to see the three of you guys together. And contrary to any belief, you're going to get a great ovation, Gilbert. All three of you guys provided some exciting, great basketball, and now you guys are the legend. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Phil. Hope I see you there.